Good morning, everybody. Quite a few variables came into play today to really delay this live stream. But here we are. So since the time is very short because we have community prayer in a little over 35 minutes, and for that I apologize also to the YouTube viewers each day, because I probably will not be able to upload this on time, and it will be a later upload also. So I thank you for your understanding. And at least we're here, we're alive, we're doing it, and that's a great blessing. And there was I'm not sure if you know anybody by the name of Andrew in your life, in your family, in your neighborhood, at work, at school. I knew a lot of Andrews, still do. And then you have a lot of variations. Andrea, which in Italian is a man, but in Spanish is a woman's name. Andy, so many Andys. It's a great name. I think it's related to the Greek word for a man. And there was a particular Andrew that left a huge mark, but he was a selfless guy, and he always went into the background. There's a marvelous shot of John the Baptist when he says that being in the background is the right place for me because I'm not the groom. And that word picks up the whole biblical marriage motif and metaphor for God related to his beloved people, whom he considers as his spouse. And the little experience that humanity has of spousal relationships and the incredible warmth and beauty and love of this, from the Garden of Genesis to the wedding feast of the Lamb, helps us to enter into the great mystery of really personal, tender, affectionate, intimate love that God has for every one of us as our Creator. And you see parents cuddling their little baby, or carrying a sick child in their hand, or assisting with the word of encouragement an adult child who has big trouble, and the parents love that child. And so that metaphor is also, in a certain sense, let's say, not in competition, but complementary, we would say, then, to the metaphor of spousal love, when a person discovers their life partner and falls in love and builds a family. So John the Baptist says, I'm not the groom. I'm just a friend of the groom. And I bring people to the groom. I don't have to be in the middle of it. I can step aside and leave the groom and the bride because it's about them. And that's the kind of guy Andrew was. He allowed the others to be the priority in his life, to bring them to Jesus. And he let them stay with Jesus, and he stepped out of the picture because each one has their personal relationship with Jesus. And so Andrew was the type of guy, he didn't say that like John the Baptist did, but he did it. John the Baptist did it also. And in fact, Andrew experienced that in person from John the Baptist, because John the Baptist let Andrew and John go from himself and follow Jesus. He didn't hold on to them and say, no, you guys stay with me because I need you. No, my job is to prepare the way, and I can connect people to Jesus. And then he connected his brother to Jesus. And then the little boy with the loaves and fish, he noticed that that was the opportunity. I don't know in what kind of a hazy, foggy way he could even have dared to imagine that those 5 loaves and 2 fish would be the feeding of the multitudes. And in a certain sense, then he linked the multitudes to Jesus' power through that little connection. Bridge building. What a beautiful thing it is to be a bridge builder, to bring people together, to connect people, to set up an opportunity so people know each other. People whose talents can match to do something, a business, or just to play a game. Little children, to know the right combination at work, to team up people. What a beautiful gift it is. What a great human treasure that person is in society, a small society of a family, in a big society of business and politics, in peace negotiations, to find the right people, to connect the right dots. It's a beautiful gift. The Holy Spirit has to be involved. The Holy Spirit is called a harmonizer. And if our big ego can be a little bit smaller and let the Holy Spirit do that, what a beautiful thing. So we have the first scene of the call today in Matthew's Gospel of Andrew, whom we remember and celebrate today. Love those bells. 7 o'clock in the morning. And you see, Jesus gave Andrew and John this mission from the very beginning. He says, come after me and I will make you fishers of men. You start making the connections between people. You open the interest because of your relationships with people. You open these to God, to the call, to the divine call, to the mission in life, to the purpose in life, to connect people. And maybe another little piece of that is also mending relationships. People are meant to do something together, and there's some little human failing that blocks this, some circumstance. And to be a person that smooths out those difficulties so that maybe it's noticing a couple that's in trouble to help them persevere in their marriage. Maybe it's an issue between siblings over inheritance. Maybe it's a business misunderstanding and how to reconcile. The beautiful gifts of bringing people together and helping them to grow together and stay together and build community, build society, bring peoples together where a lot of historical damage is done. I was speaking with some Armenian people yesterday. Their daughter did a study of some of the worst chapters of the Armenian history in recent times. And she interviewed a person who had a lot of knowledge, a Turkish person. And obviously the conflict between Turkey and Armenia has had very, very painful moments, especially a century ago. And even, well, we won't go into those details. You can just Google the relationships between Turkey and Armenia. And the Armenians suffered a lot. And so this girl goes to do an interview with this guy. And as a person, he's a very good person, very nice person. And a very learned person. And her interview with him changed her attitude. And the person who set up that interview then did a great service, because now this person has another approach. I myself have experienced this in numerous ways. The big challenge between Ireland and England And when somebody helps you to understand a little bit more what went wrong, because sometimes we only see our perspective, and there can be a lot of truth. They say the worst lie is a half-truth. And to be able to see more perspectives in the history of life, in the history of difficulties and issues that we have as human beings, it's important. And everybody, each one of us has a gift, has a way to do things, has a memory of hurt and of blessing, and to be able to bring this all together, you know. If we had the ordinary time today, instead of St. Andrew, the reading would be from the book of Revelation, with the looking down here, looking across here towards the mountains of Moab. We have the Dead Sea on this side of it, and all that space is incredibly arid because it's so dry. And the river coming out from the temple of God in Ezekiel and bringing the water down to the Dead Sea and making everything alive. And coming back on the banks, the trees are giving fruit every single month, and the leaves are good for medicine. And that's the applied reading in the book of Revelation then for today, about this fruit, this abundant fruit, and the leaves being good for medicine is obviously the theme from Ezekiel. And that's what Andrew does. Andrew is that kind of guy, by God's grace. He's receiving the grace, the water from underneath the temple, coming straight from God, sitting above the waters. And his life becomes fruitful, immensely fruitful. And that humility shows up in the way he chose to be a martyr. He chose to be crucified in the form of an X. So he didn't consider himself worthy of being at the level of Jesus in the same way. Maybe the trivia doesn't make much sense to some people, but it's about the heart and his humility and his incredible love for Jesus. And Peter denied Jesus a bunch of times. We don't see anything like that in Andrew. He must have been able to get the words of the Lord very fast. Like the psalm today says, the judgments of the Lord are true, all of them just. Peter was in the limelight, Andrew was in the background. The judgments of the Lord are true, all of them just. I'm not going to have a hang-up because my brother is in the foreground. I'm not going to be jealous of him. I'm not going to stand in his way. And that's the exact opposite. I'm going to help him to succeed and triumph. What a great brother. Their word has gone out to all the earth from the first reading. So we leave it like that, people. Time is flying. God bless you. See you later, alligators. Trying to get this to do the little selfie for you. There we go. God bless you. The sun is very bright right now. Have a blessed Saturday. Shabbat Shalom. God bless all of you.